Imagine, take your wildest dream and make it a reality. Make it not a dream anymore. Make it something that's real. Bring it to fruition. Tell yourself you're a star.
Peace, peace, peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, and we're back.
Austin.
Yo, yo, yo. Choose to inspire, not destroy.
My bad. I didn't know you.
Go ahead. Do the intro, Rion. Set it off.
Peace, peace, peace. This is episode 23.
Yo, don't disrespect me like that. Peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, episode 23, and we're back. I got my guys with me, Rion, Kofi, I'm G. If you've been here before, thank you for sticking with us and showing us some love. We hope you've been enjoying the content and our growth. If this is your first time here, appreciate you giving us a shot. Welcome. You're in a safe place, and I hope you enjoy and you decide to stick with us. You know, before I forget, because I usually forget, like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell a friend, and just, let them know what we doing over here, because we working. Fellas, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Oh, good.
Oh, nah.
Always good.
I had to force myself to get up, to get ready. I need a little more than that. Fellas, what's up? How mental health check. How y'all doing? How's your mental health going? Before we get into the topic, let's break the ice a little bit. How y'all really feeling? What's going on?
Everything's good.
I just got a lot going on, man. Busy day. Busy day.
All right, that's what's up. Rion, you feel good? All right, I'm fine too. Matter of fact, let me just get at y'all for a second real quick, because I always start this off and I'll be like, I got my guys with me. Fellas, what's up? How y'all doing? Talk to me. And don't nobody ever ask me how I'm feeling or how I'm doing.
How you
Can
doing?
can I get some love? Sometimes I want to know that y'all want to know I'm doing okay too.
How are you doing?
How you doing, G?
I'm struggling right now, bruh. I'm going.
You know what it is? I think we already know a lot of times how you doing. You don't be holding back your feelings sometimes. We be getting these calls on the side. We know. So in the opening intro, we don't think to ask that. But
Nah, I'm just messing with you. I mean, everybody go through something, and it's a little trying sometimes, but I'm cool. When I get to sit down with y'all and kick it, it eases some of the burden. And I've been looking forward to it. I actually been waiting for this one, because it's something that I feel like we'll have a good conversation about. And it's just about, how do you take correction from your friends, from your family? How do you check yourself? How do you step back and try and get a better perspective on what you're doing and how you're treating people and the type of friend and the type of person you are? And me and you, Rion, it's some things I want to touch on with you, so I'm interested to hear what you got to say about this. You know where I'm going, dog. It was a reason why this topic came up this week. So let me know. Let me hear something, please.
Oh, so I'm kicking it off?
If you want, it's up to you.
All right, so yeah, I wasn't even given the option. So basically, I don't know, the way I deal with like correction and it depends, really. It depends. Like, it depends on who you are. Depends on the time, history, and what do you call it that we've got, like rapport that we have. My personality and attitude towards correction is the same the way I approach life. It's kind of like, it's a gift and a curse in a sense. Like, I approach it logically, and then I also have a bad habit of like thinking for the individual. Like, so, and sometimes I also think ahead of the conversation. Like, oh man, I've been through this topic before. I've been through this argument before with other people. I already know where this is going, right? And so I start to make my assessment and my answers and rebuttals before I actually hear the person out. And, sometimes it goes the exact way I said this person was going to say it, and then sometimes it doesn't. You know, so a lot of times I also got to hold back and like let this person finish what they're saying, digest it, and then come for a rebuttal, right? But to get back to the root of the question, how I take like correction is, like I said, it depends on the individual. If it's somebody who I've been around for years, they know my personality. Sometimes it goes without saying, right? And then sometimes, sometimes you need to be like, yeah, you know what, I fucked up. Sometimes I have to go to an outside source, especially my girlfriend, where I'd be like, yo, here, listen to this scenario, listen to this thing, listen to this disagreement. Was I wrong? Because sometimes it's hard for you to be like, hey, were you wrong in a certain situation, because it's you that's in that situation. And you understand yourself 100% completely, and you may think you're right, but you may not see, where you went wrong unless you have like an outside source. It's kind of like when you go to therapy or whatnot, and you get that outside opinion of whatnot. So, like I said, it depends on the person, it depends on the time and the rapport that we have. Um, with people I don't know, I'm not so receptive. People I don't know, I'm just like, 50-50. It depends on the situation. People I do know, I'm receptive, but like I said, sometimes I need that outside source to digest it and then filter it back to me. But at the same end, I'm open to correction. You know what I mean? I'm not above correction. I'm open to correction. It may take a little time getting it through my head, but I'm open to it. So
I'm about to hit you with the buzzer on that
go ahead.
one. You about to be a big red X on that open to
Go
correction.
ahead.
Nah, I'm just messing with you, dog. Kofi, what's up? How we feel about that? I know how I feel about it. How you feel about it?
My personal experience with correction or feedback, really, or about what he said.
All three,
Both.
all three. You might as well.
Yeah,
All
both.
three.
Both.
All right, we'll start with me. I um, I enjoy feedback when it's given to me because you you get a chance to see something from somebody else's point of view. Now, you may not, it may be hard to hear, and it may be, something that you don't necessarily want to hear. So you may be like incredibly defensive, and it may take a while for the person to get through to you. They may have to give you the feedback over and over and over and over. But once you really take the time to think about it, that's especially if it's like feedback like, hey, I felt this way about the way you did this, or you didn't do this, or the way you spoke to me, or didn't speak to me, or you left me off of this. Once you take time and you think about it, those are the moments where you're like, yeah, I probably should have did that a little bit better, or because it's very hard to argue somebody's feelings being wrong, right? Like, ultimately, like, who am I to tell you that you shouldn't feel shitty because of something that like I may have did, or something that I may have forgotten to do. So it's those moments where like you finally listen to it and you take a step back and you're like, oh, all right, maybe I could have done that differently, or yeah, I probably could have done that differently, especially if this person feels that way. So I like to hear that up front, or if there's something that like somebody sees that like I'm doing good, but I can do better at if I change something in the way I deliver a speech, or the way I interact with somebody. um, and I just think it makes me a better person. I think the best way I've gotten feedback or correction from friends is honestly through work, managing people, because you manage so many different personalities. You're going to get it. You're either, and it may be nonverbal, you may not be able to get somebody to do something that you need them to do because you are not approaching them the correct way, and that in itself is nonverbal cue for you to realize you need to correct something about either the way you approach them, the things that you do. And then in personal life, like, it's the same thing. You may get nonverbal cues, right? When you're married, your significant other may just not speak to you for a little bit. And you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. So that's a nonverbal cue for correction. As far as delivering feedback, my favorite saying, the feedback sandwich, the correction sandwich. You do this really well, could work on this, but overall, you are X. And whether it's neutral or positive, then the person walks away feeling like, I'm not a complete failure. There's some things that I do really well. There's a couple of things I need to correct. I think it applies both for personal life and for work, because personal life makes no sense to make the people that you're around, that you interact with, always feel like you're critiquing them in a negative way and that they're not necessarily good enough, right? Because then, at some point they're going to start to say, well, you're very high up on your horse. Like, you're always giving feedback, but we never, even by their choice, deliver feedback to you. So it's always good to make it a conversation. And through the conversation, I think you understand, even with the person you're delivering the feedback to, where, like, how they're thinking about when they're in that scenario, and you might learn something from it. You might learn that they have a natural fear of speaking in public, so they always like rush through their sentences and yell. And by you just giving them feedback in a way where you can't have an open dialogue, then you'll never understand that. And it's like, oh, man, this person notices I rush through it, and I must be a terrible person or shitty at doing this. And in actuality, you just don't have any knowledge that that's something that is not something that you're comfortable with. And then the third question,
Yeah.
I think.
Get at them.
No, I think we all are learning each other's styles and ways of communicating, and I think it's something that, like, I can note about you. Like, that's not necessarily how I take feedback or how I react, but I also have to understand you're not me. So I have to understand I have to meet you in the middle. Because it can't be I'm going to completely acquiesce to the way you do things, because that's not a partnership. That's more of a dictatorship, and we're not married. And I don't even think that, like, your significant other, when you guys do get married, would appreciate that, right? So who am I? So why would you expect that of somebody that's not laying next to you in bed? So I think for me, it gives me every opportunity, gives me a better picture of where I can meet in the middle with some things. So
Good answer, but you're getting a buzzer too. I'm putting
Why
a
is that?
big red X on your thing because that was too politically correct for me. I'm gonna get at him since you don't want to get at him. I'm done
It's not that I don't wanna
with
get at
I've
him.
never even had like a disagreement with Kofi. At least I don't think so.
I'm done.
No,
I'm
we can
done
have a
with trying to
disagreement, but,
communicate
like, I'm
with
not gonna
Rian.
air our dirty laundry, but, like,
Nah, definitely
there are
not.
things that I
Yeah.
would handle differently, and, like, I'm not gonna put it out on the podcast, but there are. I mean, listen, there are things that I would handle differently, and I question, man, like, it starts to make me question, because prior to that, I didn't know you, so I'm like, man, does this person not really care? What's going on? So
Yeah.
that's all. And I'm sure
Just to
there's
put a
probably some
disclaimer
people
out
that you
there,
do.
I have no idea what Kofi's talking about.
You
So I
don't
guess
need
we're
to
gonna have a
disclaimer.
conversation after
Nah,
this.
I'm about to mute your mic. It's about to be a red question mark with your
Nah, because
screen.
I'm like, I thought me and Kofi was good. I don't know what's going on.
But
Nah,
but
yeah.
see here, but here's the issue with that, right?
Mm.
I'm not saying we're not good. It's
But I get it. Yeah, I get you not saying that. I just
no,
don't
and
even
it's something that, like,
know who really.
I internalize, and, like, I thought about, and, like, through conversations with George, I'm like, oh, okay, and he
So
is
George is the catalyst.
no
George
Yes.
is the
George
catalyst.
is the catalyst. Yes.
He
No,
I am.
got
no,
it, Kofi. He has to be.
I
Let me
don't
tell you
mind.
why he has to be. Let me
I
tell you
don't
why he
mind.
has to be. Because you and I have never had a discussion. So basically, you only had. Put it out there. We're not arguing. This is the whole how you receive feedback thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
all right. So We've never had a discussion or a disagreement. You've only been witness to disagreements between me and other people, and receptive feedback from other people. You and I have never talked about anything in reference to a feedback or anything in reference to George or anybody else. So you've only gotten that.
So two pieces of that. One, I don't really like to argue, honestly. So George isn't the only catalyst. Like and again, I'm not talking about what happened on air, but like we both felt the same way, right? So, but I was like whatever, because in my mind, the first time I was like, I benefited the doubt, but then the second time I'm like, all right, this is nuts. I see the other side of the coin and the other perspective in the conversation, but we've never talked about it because it was either, you guys had a conversation between the two of you. He was able to be the union rep, so to say, that represents the other third of the podcast, and or since George and I had a conversation about stuff that was on his mind last week, I thought about it differently, and I'm like, okay. Well, actually, it wasn't even last week, George. I think that conversation was like 2 weeks ago, because we recorded last week, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my days are confused.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No.
But that's what I'm saying. You still left
out.
Wait,
hold on. This sound like a phone conversation. Wait,
that's what I'm saying.
All right, so wait. Give me 1 second, Rian.
Right.
Give me 1 second. All right, because I'm just messing with y'all. Honestly, like I'm just messing around and giving you a hard time, Rian. I don't think that you're that hard to get through to or to communicate with. I'm just messing with you. Kofi,
you can't pull back now.
Nah, I was. You said you needed a nemesis. You wanted a nemesis, so I gave you a nemesis, right?
And I like it. But the only thing I was going to say to Kofi is that you're still missing one half of the pie in order for you to make your assessment, and that's it. And then that's where we could get our phone conversation. Now,
right, but the same respect then is, I could easily say, which I have been saying, is you're missing the half of the pie, right? Because
which is you and I.
Well, no.
Okay, I get it. He's saying that me and him had a conversation. You and him never actually had a conversation, so you really only know his side of it.
Exactly. In order to make a fair assessment.
But George, you understand where I'm coming from? Where I was like, I don't need to have a conversation with you because there's
I said it
basic,
all. Yeah,
there's basic
I get it. Rian, you got what you needed to hear. Can we move on from this now, please?
I don't think I got it, but we'll move on.
All right, so because I'm not gonna say exactly what happened, but that's a reason for the topic today.
Okay.
Because I feel like in that situation, I needed some correction. I needed to step back and check myself and understand that even though I felt like I was taking the right actions, my approach to those actions wasn't the right way to do it to somebody I consider a friend, a really good friend, And just to be clear, we had a huge argument, like a real blowout, screaming and yelling. I was in my backyard. Christopher came outside and was like, yo, what's going on? And I told him I'm good. And me and you, we really, really had it out. But we ended the conversation with respect, with honor, with peace. The argument ended with that conversation. I didn't feel like it was any hard feelings. I didn't feel like it was something we would carry on and it would affect our relationship. And when I spoke to my sister about it, she said, she let me know that it says a lot about two men that could have that type of argument and still end it on a good note and actually record that day and have a great episode together and the energy and everything be what it needs to be. So that's when I really started to process it and be like, it's wrong for me to be telling my friend, yo, I don't care how you feel about something. It's not cool. It's inappropriate to be telling somebody you don't care how they feel about it because you're upset. You got a right to feel however you want to feel. And if I'm your friend the way I say I'm your friend, then I need to at least listen to you. I need to hear you out. I need to handle you with a certain amount of care and respect, and not feel like I need to be the alpha all the time. That what I say is the end all be all. So that's what I mean. Like, yo, I'm just messing with you, dog, and I don't think you're hard to deal with and hard to communicate with. I feel like everybody got their own ways, you know. Like Kofi, I get mad at you because you're so laid back and carefree. But these are all our personalities, and it's something that I'm learning in this new journey that we're taking together. We're all learning each other together, and we're learning how to handle each other. And I think that that's something that people out there are going through too, because everybody got friends, everybody got somebody that they close to, but how do you handle those friends? Do you respect those friends enough to care about their feelings and to not think you know it all? That's all I'm saying. So let me stop playing because I was just messing with you. You said you wanted a nemesis. I gave you a nemesis for a little while.
You opened
But
something. Me and Kofi glad to be on this
yeah,
conversation.
y'all start going somewhere else. So I was like, all right, let me, because you're right. Y'all haven't had a conversation, but that was the plan for the call that me and you had. It just, that call ended up going longer than I thought it would, but I wanted y'all to speak to it. And Kofi, to you, man, I want you to feel comfortable enough to be able to check me. And both of y'all do that. You know, like I confide in y'all. I confide
No,
in y'all and my wife.
believe me, the comfort level is there. That particular time, because leading up to that, originally I was like, nah, this is. But like I mentioned to you before, I was like, but this now I see it from why you were upset the first time. So, and I'm like, all right, well, like that's like I can't talk you down at this point.
Yeah.
Because the first time I'm like, no, it's totally something. It's got to be something else. Don't even worry about it. Whatever, chill. And then the second time I'm like, I can't really say anything, and I'm kind of like, whatever. I'm here at this concert trying to enjoy this. Let's just do whatever, because I put my back against the fire, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
The first.
Yeah.
So I was the wrong person in essence to talk you down that day.
Yeah.
Or that weekend.
Yeah. How important do y'all think it is to be able to have that type of relationship with your friends? You know, to have people that you could talk to like that, and you can have those intense conversations sometimes when you need to, and just move on.
I think it's very important. I mean, if you don't have these type of conversations and be able to move on, then you're gonna develop a resentment, especially when you're trying to do things like what we're doing today. You're not gonna have that chemistry. You're not gonna have that certain delivery that you want to get across to your audience. So you need to be able to have those type of conversations. You need to be able to have those hard type of conversations, those hard type of disagreements. You need to be able to say, you know what? I see where you're coming from. I may not agree. However, let's move on because we are different people. This is the forum for it. This is one of the reasons you already know. I expressed that to you in reference to the previous issue. This is one of the reasons you establish this type of podcast to have different personalities, different opinions, and different objectives, and just we all come together collectively as men and give different perspectives on things, right? So I think those type of conversations is definitely something that's needed. It's needed in the world. It's needed amongst men. It's needed among women. Do it all the time. Sometimes they go to the drastic where they stop talking. Cause I heard women, they stop talking to each other for years and it's completely cut each other off. But men usually they don't really talk it out. We just like fight it out. All right, we won one, we fight again next day. Like physically fighting, or we just completely disregard it and then be like, it is what it is. So I think it's very healthy. I think it's something that's needed. And that's it. That's my perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important. I think outside of work, it's what separates an acquaintance from a friend. Right? Because for all the things that you mentioned, right, like it's an uncomfortable conversation. Why would you ever want to do that with an acquaintance, right? An acquaintance, you can just say hi to them and not really give a crap about them and never put yourself in that position. So in my mind, that's what separates friends from acquaintances, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think all of this is something that it took like COVID for me to really learn, to have time to sit back and to see myself for who I was, and to see the way I handled people, and the way I responded to things. And I don't want to be right all the time. I don't want to have people feeling like they got to walk on eggshells around me. If it's something that they want to say or something that they want to express to me, if I'm making them feel a certain type of way, to where they just don't say anything because they know that I'm not going to respond the way that they need me to respond, to just understand how they're feeling. Because for me, that's the goal now, to just be able to understand the way the people around me are feeling off of what I'm doing. If it's something I have no control over, then that's something different. But if it's something that I'm doing, then I want to know. If it's something that I could change and I could be better with, then I want to know. Like, I'm not going to listen to every single thing that people tell me, but at the same time, I want people to be able to be comfortable enough to talk to me like that. The people that I'm close enough to talk to me like that. Like a stranger on the street, I'm probably not going to care what you're saying unless it's like an isolated incident that it makes sense to listen to you. But the people I'm close to, you start to see sometimes that people just don't want to deal with you. And it's because of your energy. It's because the way you respond to everything. It's because when they try to talk to you, you don't want to hear it. And I don't want to be that person. So it's something that I'm starting to see in myself. And I'm really trying to correct that. I'm trying to start checking myself a lot more. And I think I've been getting better at it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say over the time I've known you, which is what now, God, George, how long has it been? Like,
Yeah.
10 years?
It's been a minute. It's been
Right?
a while.
Because it was like 5 and 10. Yeah, so it was about 10 years.
Yeah.
Crazy, a
It's
decade.
been a minute.
Yeah, I can definitely see a change. And I think it's for the better. I mean, I think we discussed this in a previous episode where originally, in my mind, you were, the first couple of times I met you or whatever, and we were working together, I was like, yeah, he's probably the most unapproachable out of the group, but I'm going to fix that in my own way. Like, whether it just be a work thing, I'm going to just kind of consistently say good morning and be consistent as much as possible, because everybody deserves a good morning and a good night, right? Especially if you're working together. Like, there's no reason for me to wish that, you don't make it home safely because you forgot to put, a number in a column at work. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I've had bosses do that to me where it's just like, it's so uncomfortable and they're so mad at you and they take it home with them. It's just like, man, I kind of feel sorry for your family. Like, if you're upset at somebody at work for forgetting to move a box somewhere and like your family has to deal with you upset over that. Like, that's nuts. So.
Rion, it's your turn, dog, to tell me how much I've changed in the time we've known each other.
I mean, I tell you all the time. I told you it's the same thing with Kofi. I think you did appear to be like one of the most unapproachable out of the group, right? But I never perceived you that way because like everyone approaches things differently, right? So I don't think I perceived you that way because you used to hide away. I just looked at you as like, all right, you wanted to hide away. You wanted to do your own shit on the second floor.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit? I'm still going to come check you.
Yeah. I don't want to hear about no people.
Yeah, other people. But I'm like that too. So I know I'm like that. And I work better that way in a sense. When you give me a task, I thought that's how you work. I didn't know your personality just yet or completely, but I still knew, okay, I had to manage. I had to come check. And my managing is just not coming to see whether or not you did like 50 boxes or you do. I'm coming to see how you are, like a temperature check. Because if you're not doing good in your personal, then you're never going to do it at work. You're not putting your 100% at work, And just our little temperature checks developed a camaraderie in a sense, right? And something outside of work.
Me hitting shots all in your eye helped develop that camaraderie. You get crossed over all crazy, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This dude here, we started going to the gym together and all that shit. So I was showing him that he could lift more because he was kind of weak back then. But
take your shirt off. That's it. Just, you've been ducking me. August 1st,
listen,
that came and left
I
a
know
long
you
time
see this.
ago. Take
I know
the
you see
check.
this. I know you see it. But I'm saying, like, I don't. You probably, I agree with Kofi. You were unapproachable on other people's sense. Back then, I didn't look at it. Back then, I just thought, I don't know. You like me. I don't ever think I'm unapproachable.
Yeah.
But you need somebody else to like tell you, bro, you kind of unapproachable. You know, I don't ever think I'm unapproachable.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm an introvert by nature, right? I don't like clubs. I don't like crowds. I don't like, it's not people per se, because I enjoy the company of my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy the company of that small few, right? But I just don't like all that extra.
Yeah.
So I work like how you were working back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see it then. And then when I realized you don't really get in the mix of anything, and then I started to see it. And then, you know, other things started to open up. But you did grow, but I don't even know if it's you growing or you breaking down certain things that you kind of like put up a wall for. Because you know when they be like, yo, this big dude is just always a teddy bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this part was always a part of you. Like again, I mentioned last week, or like the last episode, you always wanted to do this for some time before. You had shirts pre-made before you even watched this shit years ago,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, did you grow, or was there just vines covering what you really were?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had a lot of other things like walls that needed to break down, and it's like, nah, this nigga really didn't grow. This nigga just showing who he really is. You know what I mean? And who you really are is a multifaceted human being with now, instead of this hard side, you got this peace. What do you call it? Love and tender side. You got this, you know, Rion, my fault, type side. And I'm like, oh shit. You know? So it's like, yeah, I'm not, it's not a negative, but I don't think you grew. I think this was you. You always had that passion for your kids. You always had that passion for your family. You always had that passion. And I think your wife helped break down some of those walls too.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff that you were going through, she helped break down some of those walls, because just like you said with Brandon, you had that, when you first met Brandon, I remember the story, when you first met Brandon, you had that tender, caring side, and then things started compiling.
Yeah.
And then that side started disappearing.
Yeah.
You know, and then Brandon kind of faded out within your life. So this George that you see now has always been there. You get what I'm saying?
Nah, dude.
So,
100%.
so
100%. I agree. That was actually a great response, dog. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna stop getting at y'all now off camera with my wife, because I'll be like, yo, I'll be getting on there saying all this nice stuff to them. Don't nobody ever say nothing nice to me. So thank you. You satisfied my thirst for that. And I agree. I think that it was a character that I created, and now the character is gone. You know, I gave off that energy of being unapproachable, and I don't think it was a cool energy to give off. You know, I don't think me walking around like the world was revolving around me, or I was like just God's gift, and people needed to jump through hoops to be able to have some sort of interaction with me. That's not the way I see things anymore. Like I'm trying to build relationships and rebuild some relationships that might have been damaged because of that behavior. So, Rion, you hit it right on the head, dog. Right on the head. How do y'all take correction from your wives, though? And I'm not calling your girl no more, Rion. I'm calling her your wife.
you might as well. Everybody does, and I be slipping up.
Yeah.
Not even slipping up. I be saying it because it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? So I take correction. She's sleeping, but I take correction.
About the front. Don't
huh?
front. Don't front. Keep it real. She gonna see it. You act like she.
Well, I'm saying I take correction extremely well from her, right? She may not know it because I don't give her props and be like, yeah, you're right. Right? Yeah. Especially when it's pertaining to like me and her, when I'm supposed to be saying sorry to her. Mm-hmm. But like say if I'm having a disagreement with you, or after me and Kofi get off this line and we start talking Kofi, I'm gonna give it to her and be like, yo, was I wrong? You know, so it's between her, she really doesn't hear, all right, you're right, as much as she's supposed to hear, right? But between like outside aspects, she dissects things really well. She's very calm and what do you call it? Tempered, like person, right? So she dissects and digests things really well, and she'll tell me, yeah, you fucked up. And usually when she says that, I take it.
Yeah.
You know what? And for some reason it's funny. I take it better from her than I do my mom, right? Because my mom, which is weird, right? Because my mom is just, I think me and my mom are too much alike, and she's always on my side. Where my girlfriend is, she's always on my side, and no matter what I choose, it's gonna go down how I choose it. But she's able to tell me, nah, you're wrong in this sense,
Yeah.
right? So no, I take correction from her really well, just not when it pertains to me and her. Well, I do, I just don't tell her.
Yeah.
But she'll see it this time.
Now she know. Kofi, how you deal with getting checked, King? I've been around, so don't act like I don't know. Sometimes that whip come out.
What have you seen? What have you seen?
Well, I mean, it's not really a strong correction. It kind of be you, because I think you got what I got, which is we do unnecessary stuff when we out. Like when we went to Target and you grabbing everything in Target for no reason. And you calling her and you like, oh, do you want this water or whatever you was trying to get? And she was like, I don't want the water. Like, we don't need the water. And I think you still got the water, which is something that I would do. But her tone lets me know that she's not hesitant to let you know you bugging out when she need to let you know you bugging out.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, man. Yes.
That's what I'm chasing though. I used it. I told my wife, I was like, look, I need you to be a little more forceful with me, like how Kofi's wife seems like she's with him. And I'm trying to break her out of it because it's been so long that I'm unapproachable. It's like, yo, don't tell him nothing. Don't disagree. Don't tell him he bugging out, because now you're gonna get caught up in that whirlwind, and nobody wants to be caught up in that. So I'm trying to get her to be more open to being like, cause I ask her now, babe, am I bugging? Should I have done that? Should I have not have done that? Was this wrong? Is my way of thinking off?
He froze.
Real pros.
So what works from my wife's point of view, what works on me usually, and it's always a work in progress, but what seems to work is adding logic to it, right? Meaning like all right, I'll give you a perfect example. I have this goal, and like you can laugh at it, the viewers can laugh at it, but like I look at Nelly, and he's almost 50, and he's built like he is about to go and play professional baseball.
Yeah,
like
he
Jack.
does look good.
And I'm like, I want I like that would be incredible if I can get like that. But then when I want to deviate, right, and go with you to get like 2 cones of bubble waffle ice cream, she's like, I mean, you can do that, but like, remember, like, do you think Nelly's doing that right now? And I'm like,
yeah.
So it then throws it back on you to be like, man, why, right? So like, maybe there's something that she could come up with that's like a goal that you've been trying to attain. That like, well, all right, I mean, like, you can do it, but like, I don't think Nelly's sitting there having ice cream in his hotel room, sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Just saying. Right? Or he's not having, whatever, 5 scrambled eggs or 4 scrambled eggs or something. Yes. He's probably run 3 miles already today, but that's okay. You don't have to work out. Like, that's up to you.
And that's I was about to just get at you, because we had the conversation about uh the just the being in shape. Rion, you back? Just the being
Okay, I'm
together
text
and
you just
being
now.
in shape, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, when I was at your crib, dog, while I was making the cake for your wife, you was eating a slice of cake.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you had like some rainbow cake in your
Oh,
fridge.
listen. Hold on.
And no, Rion, does that
That
make any
was
sense to you? Is that
the
not the
Lucky
greediest thing
Charms
you
cake.
ever heard of?
Wait, I missed the whole
That was the Lucky
part.
Charms cake.
Yeah, all right.
What
So
happened? All I heard was somebody was
You
making
can't say
cake
no
while
to
he was
that
eating
though.
cake.
nah, we gotta.
You
All
can't
right.
say no to that.
Yeah, I went when I stayed at Kofi crib for the weekend, right?
Mhm.
I made a cake for his wife because it was her birthday. And I feel like everybody needs to have a cake on their birthday. Like that's my thing. So I'm making the cake. The cake is going in the oven. I look, this dude is eating a slice of like prepackaged cake that I guess he had in the refrigerator. And it was like, dude, it's cake coming, man. Like, wait for this cake. And it was still early. It wasn't cake time. It wasn't
But
like it was the afternoon.
hold on.
I
There's
gotta
a
give him.
couple
I gotta
things.
give him a pass. I gotta give
There's
him
a
a
couple
Oh,
pass.
things
you
you said
greedy
that are
too
wrong
then.
there.
Nah, you
One,
greedy
But
too
but
then.
that's the thing.
but
How much time has Kofi expressed and said that he's a snack guy? You heard him talk about ice cream. You heard him talk about something that he raved about that was so delicious. You know that he was going to partake of your cake still. So it's like your cake wasn't going to
Nah,
go to
see?
waste.
See, that's the
that's
whole
was
point of
that
the
not cake
episode,
is not
being
going away.
able to correct your people. And that's my fault, because I should have been like, Kofi, what is going on, dude?
Right.
You eating this cake so early. And then we went and got the bubble waffle
That
with
was
the
your
ice cream
influence, though. That
after
was
we
your
ate.
influence.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, he was trying to kill me out there. Now that I think about it, it was Kofi had me doing all the wrong stuff out
See,
there.
but what George
We
doesn't
not
tell
coming
you is
back,
we
Kofi.
had him
That
on
shit.
the
We
treadmill
not coming
before we
back.
went and had
You
ice cream.
took me to the super spreader event. You had me eating bubble waffle, ice cream, all of that stuff, knowing my
But you knew
situation.
this going into this,
I didn't
right?
know it was that real. It's like when you hear about a myth, like Bigfoot
You
or
see,
something, and
I
then you
can't
actually see
co-sign on that.
Bigfoot. Yeah, I didn't know it was that real.
I can't co-sign on that because just like you said, you knew it for 10 years. I already knew it was that real with Kofi. How much time Kofi talked about snacks on here?
I ain't never
Let me tell you,
seen
that
him.
Lucky Charms cake was delicious. And number
You
two, it was
see?
always cake time. So what do you mean it
Nah,
wasn't cake
it
time?
did.
There's
It
always
did
cake
look
time.
good. It did look good.
It was delicious.
Yeah,
Magically delicious.
he ate the marshmallow part off of the either the rest of it, cause he yeah, that's what made it worse. As soon as we got to his crib, when I was coming in, cause we drove separate, so he got there ahead of us. He's a speed demon. He got there ahead of us, and then when we pull up, we coming in, he's eating the cake. This is the day before, so it's like
It's
he had
Friday
a
night.
lot of cake
That
that weekend.
that was Kofi's pre-cake workout.
He was mad that the
I woke
marshmallow
up.
part wasn't on it,
Cause
which
all
was
right, so
crazy to me.
you ever have something in the fridge and you're like, when I get home, I am going to destroy. Then you get there and
It
you're like,
wasn't yours
and then
though.
imagine half of it being eaten. You're like, what happened
Who did that
here?
cake belong to? Who
So depends on what you say, how you define possession. The person that paid for
Yeah, you sound like a criminal.
it,
You
or
sound like a criminal. Possession
I'm about to tell you. Every
you,
time you rotate, I disappear. You notice that, right?
no, that's because I'll tell you
All
offline.
right, all
I'll
right.
tell you offline. I'm
so
fixing it.
yes, I
Pretty
had
much.
cake on bubble waffle on more cake when I got home.
Yeah.
But of
All
course,
types of cake.
I got
So
the.
that's
Oh
three
wow, you're having.
types of cake. So I'm a bad
Well,
friend. I
no,
missed the
it's not
point
your. Listen,
of the
it was my
episode.
choice, and I got the. Oh, you're having more cake today?
You
That
still
little
got that
comment
cake?
just dropped into it.
You
That
still
comment. Oh,
Yeah.
you're having more
This
cake today?
I don't know why. All right, it's time to wrap this one up, man. We talking about cake. I can't even remember if I said how I take. Well, basically, babe, I need you to be correcting me. I need you to stay on top of me. I need your support. I need you guys' support. I appreciate y'all. I'm thankful that, Rion, me and you, we handled our business and we did what we had to do. And Kofi, you holding it down the way you hold it down. And I just appreciate that. I appreciate the friendship, the camaraderie, the bond that we building. Respect to y'all on building too. This is new to us, and it's important. It's important what we doing. It's important to keep doing it, and hopefully somebody out there is inspired by it because that's all we trying to do. While we inspiring ourselves, we trying to inspire some people out there. So no matter who you are, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, just be inspired. Choose to inspire, not destroy. You heard? Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, 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 choose to inspire, not destroy.